I'm going to talk about the GDPR, but not exactly about the GDPR. It's going to be more practical, so don't be scared by this term. I'm not a lawyer, so it's not going to be legal. It's going to be practical. It's going to be some easy steps to protect your data and your client's data. And the agenda includes backup options. As you see, it's not as scary as you thought. Backup options, encryption of your files, either on your PC or backup, secure file transfer, VPN, virtual private network, and some other measures that might be useful. About backup, what I personally do is I'm using the integrated backup function from Microsoft Office, from the Microsoft suite, which is called in Windows 10 file backup, and in older versions backup. File history it's called in Windows 10. I'm also taking a daily backup on an external drive. I insist on daily because if you're using translation memories and all your daily workflow, you definitely need a daily copy of your files. And my third measure is backup on the cloud. It sounds a bit scary, backing up client data, invoices, etc. on the cloud, but it's not as scary as you might think because there are measures to protect the data. The options we are going to explore are Dropbox, Box, OneDrive, and Google Drive. Of course, there are other options as well. You might use some of the others as well. First of all, what do you back up? I'm backing up my translation memories, all my cut tool projects, which means the whole folder in STL Trados, the whole folder of MemoQ, anything that is happening on my computer. The Microsoft Outlook folder, because I'm using several email addresses, so this folder with all the data is also being backed up on a daily basis. And I back up on Dropbox. How do I do that? Usually, when you save something on your computer, it goes to My Documents. This is where you will find, for example, the STL files, the STL Trados files. What I did is I moved all those files into the Dropbox file. You see it appears as an external hard drive in your folder list. This PC, this is my backup, the external hard drive, network, etc. So you see the icon here. I will explain what BoxCrypto is later. And I moved all those files and created folders in Dropbox, which means whatever is included in this folder is going to be backed up in the cloud as well. And you can move anything you want in there. The point that I moved everything into there, and I'm saving and working while those files are located there, is that I don't have to move anything before I make a backup. Otherwise, if I wanted to back up something that was in the folder My Documents, I would have to move it and then wait till it is saved under the Dropbox folder and then upload the file, etc., etc. So automatically, anything I save will be anyway saved in the Dropbox folder, which is located in my computer. Another advantage is when you're using more than one computer and you synchronize Dropbox daily. I do this twice a day, once around lunchtime and once in the evening, because if you keep Dropbox running all day, first, your internet speed decreases, and second, it might slow down other programs because it consumes resources. So I make a backup to Dropbox on a daily basis. If you do your first backup, your very first one, including translation memories, it might take a couple of days if your translation memories are huge. But then it will take less time because those files will be updated. They will not be saved from scratch, but only updated on Dropbox, so it takes less time. So this is about Dropbox. In addition, you can move any other important sensitive files into Dropbox. Don't forget to point MemoQ and STL Trados, for example, to save in Dropbox files instead of in the My Documents file. Simply move it once, and then the program recognizes the folder and saves there automatically. And synchronize once or twice daily. Let's take a look at Box. From my experience, Box updates your files quickly here, but there's another problem. If Box is not running, you don't see this icon. Like Dropbox, this is constantly visible in your computer, but with Box, it's only when Box is running. So, for example, if I want to work in Trados, it will not see my files saved in Box if I had saved them there, or my translation memories, or my MemoQ files. So Box has to be running, which means it will consume resources. So this is something I don't want when I have a heavy workload. So I prefer Dropbox in this case. What I use Box for is when I have a bunch of files I need to deliver to my clients. I send them the link to Box. I upload the files there, so I don't have huge attachments on my emails. And I can also, if I log in on Box Online, not only the application which is on my computer, I can see when they download it, because I automatically get an email, and I'm sure, because some clients are not that polite, they don't reply. When you say, please confirm receipt of the files, they don't reply. So I'm sending them the email through the application, and I see, they downloaded it, so they've got it. Especially when it's Friday evening. You know what I mean. So Box is fine, but it's not very handy for saving your daily work, but for delivering files to your clients it's excellent. And in addition, you have the option, as soon as you see they have downloaded everything, a couple of days later you can delete the file from Box, which means you are safer, especially if these files contain personal data, if these are certificates, legal documents, medical records, etc. Another option is OneDrive. This comes for free if you are using the Microsoft Office suite, Microsoft Office 365. And basically, it has the same function as Dropbox, which means you see the folder over here. I prefer Dropbox in this case because you have the free option. You can use the free option if you don't have a ton of files that are a couple of gigabytes. But you can also upgrade and require more space. For example, I've got my translation memories there. They are huge. So I'm paying something like 10 euros a month, and I'm fine, and there's still plenty of space to save other stuff. And let's take a look at Google Drive. This might sound familiar. I'm not a big fan of Google Drive. I don't really recommend it because it converts files into a Google format. For example, if you are uploading Microsoft Word or Microsoft Excel, Google Drive converts it into another format, and when you download it, it converts it back into the original format, which might have a loss of data. In addition, there might be security risks because you are logging in with your Gmail, which is the same email you are using for your Gmail, maybe for your contacts on your mobile phone, and maybe for 100 other applications on your computer, on Netflix, on God knows what. So I would not recommend using Google Drive for that. And especially for the reason that it converts your files into other formats. If you prefer using Google Drive, maybe you're already using Google Drive, don't forget to use the two-step verification so that if someone tries to access your files, that you are notified or that they need to get the PIN code, the one-time code sent to your email for extra security. Before we proceed to encryption, any questions about backup, about the cloud providers? please. Yes, please.
I came across a platform that's trying to introduce my.
No, if you want to. Is it open?
So I came across a platform that's called Mega, and it has a mobile app as well. It gives you a free access or a free storage capacity up to 50 gigabytes.
Oh.
Yeah, this is for free, and then if you want to upgrade, you pay more. But the first package is 50 gigabytes for free.
Which country is this from? I'm asking because of the GDPR. If it's American,
I guess it's New Zealand.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they handle encryption and stuff like that.
No idea, but yeah, I use it for bulky files.
Yeah, but it's a lot of space. Thank you for pointing it out. Anyone else?
Yes. Are you sure that the free version of Dropbox is GDPR compliant?
Yes.
Because I thought only the professional version, paying version was...
What they did is they want you to pay. That's why they provide you the agreement with the paid version. You are protected. It's exactly the same thing. The only thing is that you have more space, and they are forcing you to get more space if you're using Dropbox professionally, and then provide you with the document you need to be GDPR compliant. The encryption is for all versions of Dropbox. In addition, I will let you know about BoxCrypto in a moment. I have Dropbox on 2 computers, on my mobile phone and on my tablet, which means when I do the daily synchronization, I have everything on 4 devices, and it's safe because it's encrypted anyway. But in addition to that, I will let you know about encryption, which adds a second layer to the already encrypted files, so that you're 100% sure nobody can access your files.
Okay, thank you.
Lovely, thank you. Anyone else? Yep. So with GDPR, I was looking for another program to add a second layer of encryption to my files. I said, okay, everything is encrypted, but what if? So I found BoxCrypto, which is a German product, and it's GDPR compliant in this case. What it does, first of all, it supports more than 30 cloud storage providers, except for the 4 I mentioned before. You might be using other cloud providers, like maybe Mega, you suggested.
Yeah, I'm checking its GDPR policy or privacy policy, and it's still opening. But it generates, if you want to share a file with another person, you can choose either for this file to be encrypted and send an encryption code along with the link to this file to that person or not. So
lovely. So yes, in theory. But anyway, if it's supported by BoxCrypto, lovely. Lovely. But in addition, you can add another layer of security to that. With BoxCrypto, it has a 2-factor authentication you might use. It's optional, which means you might receive a code on your mobile phone or on another device, so that you have your password and the one-time code. There's data security across smartphones, tablets, and desktops. As I said, I have everything. I have access to Dropbox on my mobile phone, on the tablet, and on 2 computers. And for example, if I forget to log into my files through Dropbox, and I go directly and navigate from directly on my phone to Dropbox, I only see either scrabbled things, or I cannot log in at all. I cannot open the file at all. So then I'm logging in through BoxCrypto, and I have access to my file, provided that I logged into BoxCrypto previously to have access. You may choose what to encrypt and what not. There might be information on your computer that is public anyway, so you don't want to encrypt it. And there's other information like your own certificates or your CVs, in addition to your client's files that you wish to encrypt, and you can choose what to encrypt and what not. It is free for 1 cloud provider and 2 devices, which means for your laptop and your mobile phone or your PC and your tablet, you choose. So there's a free option. And for personal use and business use, there's a charge. I forgot to mention, this is an annual charge, but 36 or 72 euros annually for this feature. I find it not much, but of course there are free options. I'm not associated to them, I'm just, I'm happy with this program, that's why I'm suggesting it. There are, of course, free options available, for example, VeraCrypt and Cryptomator. You see this dark and underlined. Whatever is dark and underlined are hyperlinks. I'm going to provide you with a link to the PowerPoint presentation anyway, so if someone would like to have access before we, before the conference makes those files available, you will be able to access it. Any questions so far with the encryption? There's still some more encryption. And Wisply, I don't know if you know about this one. Most of us use WeTransfer, and I don't remember the other one with a yellow logo, because it's been ages I haven't used it anymore. Ways to send files to my clients, I usually use Box, because it has less files on it than my Dropbox, and it takes less time to synchronize. And also Wisply, for example, if I'm sending files to my accountant, which are invoices and stuff like that, I can use Wisply, which is available for Dropbox, OneDrive, Google Drive. And you can send a download link to your client or to whoever you want to share a file with, and a PIN with a different means, through the mobile phone, through a second email. But if they don't have both, they cannot access the file. And it has an encryption standard applied, which is very safe. Any questions so far about encryption? Let's go to the virtual private network. Most of us need to work on the go as well. For example, you're attending this conference here, and you might have clients chasing you. Oh, I forgot this thing. I need it urgently, blah, blah, blah. Or even you need to reply to your correspondence or check a file or have access to the internet through your laptop where you are storing sensitive files, or even from your mobile phone. So if you are using a network that is not safe, not your home or business network, it is recommended that you use a virtual private network. What does this thing do? It secures the private network so that nobody can have access to your files. And it provides an encrypted tunnel through which you can transmit data, which means no one can access your files, even if you log in from the hotel, from a cafeteria, from a pub, you are pub lancing. I'm referring to a certain colleague at Things Translators Never Say. Everyone knows whom I mean. Most of you. So it's ideal if you work on the go frequently and if you're using a shared Wi-Fi. If you want to check your options with virtual private networks, most of them are unfortunately not free. You might find free solutions for your mobile phone, but I'm afraid that if you want to use it on your computer or on your laptop, unfortunately there will be a charge, but there are special offers available as well. So I have a selection of links you can explore. Some other measures, if you need to print out stuff frequently, for example, certificates, medical records, etc., or when your direct clients are sending you files in picture format and they're not legible and you need to print them out, the best thing you can do is to use a file shredder, preferably crosscut, which is GDPR compliant. Or burn it if you have a nice fireplace in the winter. But this will be too hot during summer, so let's get a shredder. They're cheap, by the way. It's something like 30, 40 euros, and they last forever. Also an external hard drive for backup, because, for example, if your computer catches a virus, you just unplug it from your computer, and it's saved, hopefully. But as I said, I want to be on the safe side, so I'm backing up everything through the integrated Windows function for backup, an external hard drive, and on the cloud. And antiviruses, there are free options like AVG, Avira. There are a lot of free versions, but I would go for a paid version because it offers you more functionality. For example, I'm using Bitdefender. There's also a functionality to clean my computer from unnecessary files before I log out. So this is what I do to get some extra space. And of course, don't forget to update it whenever the thing needs to be updated, preferably automatically if there's a setting to. Most of them are updated automatically, but just make sure that everything works in order, that your computer is in top condition. Same goes for updating Windows updates. We know we all hate them, especially when we have to deliver, and then a huge Windows update shows up, which takes something like 4 or 5 hours to get installed on our computer. Just make sure in the settings that you set office hours under settings for backup, so that you're not interrupted while working when Windows decides they want to install something on your computer. But it's good to install them because it secures your computer. So this is basically what we talk about, what I told you about: backup options, encryption, secure file transfer, virtual private network, and some other measures. If you have questions after the session, you can email me. We can connect on LinkedIn or through Pros. And this would be the link to download the file if you wish to, because there are links. It's tinyurl.com, BP19 GDPR. I made it easy. I'm all yours for questions.
So how does it work actually, working with all these solutions for backing up?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have to sign a contract with them in order for you to be sure that they are compliant with the GDPR, or is it automatic, the whole process?
Which one you mean?
I mean, for example, let's take Dropbox. Or even Whisply to send files. Do you have to sign a contract with them so that they tell you what their privacy policy are, and I mean, how does it work in practice?
It's a lot simpler. In the beginning, everyone was afraid that we need to sign contracts with due to the GDPR. But for example, Whisply is from a German company. Mm-hmm. They are forced to be GDPR compliant anyway. Same goes for BoxCrypto. It's the same German company, so they are GDPR compliant by default anyway, and even if you check the website, you will see they are GDPR compliant. You can ask for a contract if you wish to, and some cloud providers also provide you with a link if you need to get a contract, but it depends on the country. For example, in Greece they wouldn't care. In the UK, I had to register at the Information Commissioner's office, but I didn't see, they didn't mention clearly that we need to have those contracts. On another group on Facebook, which is GDPR for Translators, especially the German colleagues were looking for those files to download in order to have the agreement.
That's why I asked, because I'm from Germany.
Yeah, that's why.
Okay, so you don't
I don't
need...
Wherever I could download it or get it automatically, I did, just in case. But I don't think that anyone will really look into that. What they want us to make sure is that there's no data breach, that your client's data is safe, your own data is safe, and no one else has unauthorized access. I don't think it's for those documents per se. So if it comes from a European provider, it should be GDPR compliant by default, because they need to comply anyway. And I don't think they would risk not to comply, especially if they're selling software, because they'll lose all the clientele. But they mention it clearly, especially the Germans.
What about WeTransfer?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I do. WeTransfer is American, if I'm not mistaken. So, no, just to use Dropbox or Box, and as soon as your recipient receives the file, simply delete it, so that no one else has access to it. Not delete it completely from your computer, but from, yeah. Any more questions? Yep.
The service Speedify. It's a virtual private network. But, well, I use it because I live in a place where we have a really slow connection. So I can aggregate a cable connection and a Wi-Fi connection. And that's why I use this service. But it's actually a VPN. But the company is based in the US. Do you see any problem
No, because it should do what it says, a virtual private network. So as long as it's a virtual private network, which means an extra layer of security on your system, should be fine. And the Americans as well, they see Europe as competitors, so they have a similar, I don't remember what it says, something with shield, they call it in the US. So, yeah, exactly, which is similar to the GDPR, so they need to comply with that anyway. But you can still check on the website if they are GDPR compliant or not. They should. Anyone else? So that was it. I didn't want to take up more of your time with this rather scary title. So if you need to contact me, you know where to find me. And if you go through the material again, and then there are any questions, you're very welcome to contact me. Thank you very much for your time. I think we can go for a coffee break. Thank you.